as I prepare for the upcoming Portland Retro Gaming Expo, I thought it'd be awesome to share my Pac-Man and Ms. Pac-Man collection. I'm taking that as well as my N64 collection of games and taking it to PRGE, and it'll be on display in the PRGE Museum. I love Pac-Man. I love classic video games, and part of the display that's being hosted by the Video Game History Foundation is going to be at the Portland Retro Gaming Expo this year, but I thought I'd share with you as I'm packing it up. Haha, get it? That's a dad joke. So what I thought I would do is I would share my Pac-Man game collection with you, as well as some of my current favorite Pac-Man variations, some not official. And so, gosh, you know, there's so many Pac-Man games out there. People will be shocked to see actually how many there are. I just want to share the games that I've collected over the years, as well as talk with you how many other games are out there. There's tons of merchandise as well. I don't focus on that. I have some things. So sit back, relax. Here we go. So here's my Pac-Man collection. Not in picture is my quarter scale Pac-Man arcade machine from Numbskull Games, as well as my 1-up arcade Pac-Man machine that's in my other game room. But I just wanted to focus on the games and some of the merchandise and some unofficial things. That's Pac-Man 2 handheld, pretty cool, just recently got that. I love the Coleco tabletops, Pac-Man and Ms. Pac-Man. There's toys, there's Jack's Pacific, little plug and plays that I have, and there's even a Hallmark card. There's even a promo Frisbee for Pac-Man when it came out for the Atari 2600. Pac-Man record album. Here's some unofficial games and games that definitely we're trying to do Pac-Man. Casey Munchkin being a big one for the Odyssey 2, as well as Casey's Crazy Chase. Just wanted to show those. Here's the Atari releases, as well as some other versions of Pac-Man that came out for classic games and television 7800. Wanted to share, just there's so much out there. And some unofficial stuff releases, Pac-Man collection for the ColecoVision. There's several variations of Pac-Man for the 2600, packaging variations, even Baby Pac-Man for 7800. I did a video on that. I do have a pre-production of Ms. Pac-Man for the 7800. Really cool to have that. There's even an unofficial release for the Fairchild Channel F of Pac-Man. Several 7800 games, awesome homebrews and aftermarket games. Just so much. There's even, here's some more unofficial releases, even Ms. Candyman for the Astrocade, even the Super Games Pack for the CD-TV, but it tells part of the story. It's actually going to be part of a story that the Video Game History Foundation is going to share and talk about. Classic computer releases, I don't have nearly all of them. There's so much out there. Here's just some of the releases. Apple II, Commodore 64. I even have Pac-Man floor mats. I've had those in my car for, you know, over 15 years. They're really worn, but I thought I'd share them here. Here's all the NES releases. Even Sega Master System had a Ms. Pac-Man release overseas. Pac in Time for Super Nintendo and the other Super Nintendo releases. Sega Genesis, Ms. Pac-Man, awesome game. I'll show some gameplay of that. But yeah, there's just some awesome stuff. I even have the ZX release, Ms. Pac-Man, really tough to get. Game Gear releases, and no, I didn't forget about portable. So Pac-Man and Ms. Pac-Man came out in Game Boy, as well as Game Boy Color. There was just Pac-Man everywhere. And, you know, Lynx, even the Neo Geo Pocket Color. Several DS releases. I have the other DS releases, Pack and Roll, coming. I don't have all the variations. I just wanted to show, as time progressed, Pac-Man and Ms. Pac-Man was included in several compilations, several Namco museums. There was some PC compilations. Here's the Switch releases, several GameCube releases, and, you know, as time went on, Pac-Man evolved and went from the classic gameplay into 3D platforms, party games. They really tried to evolve Pac-Man with the times. I'm still a fan of more of the classic games, but there's just a metric ton of games released. The Pac-Man Championship Edition 1 and 2. Ms. Pac-Man, which came out in 1982, is celebrating 40th anniversary, and I thought it'd be fun to put all my Pac-Man and Ms. Pac-Man games together and share with you. This came out years ago. You can find out more on the Atari Age forums, but this is Pac-Man 8K, and I think this is one of the best releases of Pac-Man unofficially for the Atari 2600 with all the limitations. And, you know, the Pac-Man official release came out, and a lot of people have opinions of it, didn't think it was great, terrible sound as well as graphics, not really representing Pac-Man Arcade. This is so much better. With all the intermissions, this definitely is closer to the arcade experience. Truly impressive for the Atari 2600 and well worth checking out if you haven't. One of the original releases for the Atari 7800, Ms. Pac-Man stays faithful to the arcade release. Now, I'm a big fan of ports. I love playing console variations of arcade games. I've always been a fan of arcade ports on consoles, and this is one of my favorites, as you know, it represents the arcade game. You know, the 7800 is often overlooked, but this is an inexpensive release. You can pick this up fairly cheaply and well worth it. Next up is Ms. Pac-Man for the Sega Genesis. Always been a fan of this game and this version. You can use a pack booster. It kind of makes the gameplay really fast. This is a fun game, especially if you're looking for a game for kids to play or introduced to the Pac-Man series. I think this is a wonderful version and one I keep going back to. I'm a big Sega Genesis fan. I did a video dedicated to this, why I enjoy it and appreciate it. And another game release that's not too expensive, one you can pick up, especially loose cart. Totally recommend it. If you're looking for something a little bit different, you may want to check out Pac-Man Pinball. This is not the best pinball game, but I found it an interesting combination, and I was just in the mood to play this. I have enjoyed playing it so far. A few boards are offered, and you know, I'm not going to say this is like the best video game pinball game, but if you just want to discover or play something that you may have not known was out there, Pac-Man Pinball Advance on the Game Boy Advance might be the variation you want to check out, as I found myself enjoying it. This next one is truly impressive, and it's on the Namco Museum Archives 1 on the Nintendo Switch. And what it is, it's an 8-bit version of Pac-Man Championship Edition. This also has been unofficially put on original NES hardware, and so if you have a Switch, you can download and play this, part of that collection that I showed, and it's truly impressive. The entire Championship Edition is here in 8-bit form. Super fast gameplay. One of my favorite Pac-Man games to be released of all time. I keep going back to this, as you know, it truly has captured that Pac-Man gameplay experience, offering though a modern twist on the gameplay, and I just think it's truly impressive. I just am a big Pac-Man fan, but this really just takes it to the next level, as it has that one more game essence to it. You rack up crazy scores, and you know, it's all about staying alive, and I love that the flow of the gameplay. It just, everything about it, the graphics, just truly impressive. I love these types of conversions that push original hardware. And you know, if you're a fan of Pac-Man Championship Edition and you didn't know about this, it's well worth the look. What are your favorite Pac-Man games or items to collect in the Pac-Man Ms. Pac-Man universe? Share in the comments below. I had a lot of fun putting this video together, and I look forward to seeing some of you this weekend at the Portland Retro Gaming Expo. And you know, gosh, you know, I know that many people can't make it, so I thought this was a cool video to do, to just share a subset collection with you. Subset collecting is a lot of fun. It's never ending. And you know, with franchises such as Pac-Man and Ms. Pac-Man, there's always something to collect. There's always something else out there. I'll never have a complete collection of this, but it's fun, as you know, there's just really some neat things out there to collect for Pac-Man and Ms. Pac-Man, and I wanted to share with you just a fraction of what's out there. Thank you so much for coming to my channel. If you like what you see, consider hitting that like and subscribe button and clicking the bell as I'm uploading videos. every week. You folks are wonderful and beautiful. Let's keep it positive. This is the Immortal John Hancock, and you have a good day.